I'd like to welcome everyone to the regularly scheduled December board meeting, December 13th, 2022, to our public session. I'd like to start off the public session with a moment of silence, be followed by a pledge of allegiance led by our student board member election. So if you would please stand for a moment of silence first.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Take a motion to approve the public session agenda. Motion to approve. Motion approved by Matthew, seconded by Jason. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the agenda as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The agenda is approved. I'll take a motion to accept the approval of the November 15th, 2022 public session minutes. Second by Rodney, second by Matthew. Are there any corrections or additions or discussions about those minutes?
No.
Hearing none. Those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And the minutes are adopted. We will now have the closed session summaries by the superintendent, followed by announcements.
Thank you. The Board of Education met in executive session on Tuesday, November 15, 2022 at 4:04 p.m. under Authority 3-305 of the General Provisions Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland to discuss the following items: review of executive session minutes, personnel topics pursuant to 3-305B1, and administrative function topics. Matthew Paul made a motion to go into executive session, and Monica Rinker seconded the motion. Final resolution, motion carried. Rodney Glotfelty, Matthew Paul, and Monica Rinker. Jason Mansicle was not present at this part of the meeting. Matthew Paul made a motion to approve the executive session agenda, and Rodney Glotfelty seconded the motion. Final resolution, motion carried. Yea votes from Rodney Glotfelty, Matthew Paul, and Monica Rinker. Jason Mansicle was not present for this part of the meeting. Topics discussed included the following: October 11, 2022 executive session minutes. Matthew Paul made a motion to approve the October 11, 2022 executive session minutes, and Rodney Glotfelty seconded the motion. Final resolution, motion carried. Yea votes from Rodney Glotfelty, Matthew Paul, and Monica Rinker. Again, Mr. Van Sickle was not present. November 10th executive session minutes. Monica Rinker made a motion to approve the November 10th executive session minutes, and Matthew Paul seconded the motion. Final resolution, motion carried with yea votes from Rodney Glotfelty, Matthew Paul, and Monica Rinker. Mr. Van Sickle was not present at that part. Personnel, professional leave request. Dr. Nicole Miller, Chief Academic Officer, presented a professional leave request to the board for their approval. The board took action on this topic in the public session under the consent agenda. Certificated staff, Dr. Jane Wilson, Director of Human Resources, presented 2 certificated staffing recommendations to the board. The board took action on this topic in the public session under the consent agenda. Appointment compensation of legal counsel for 2023. The board discussed planning for legal counsel FY 2023, including the compensation increase and appointment. The board did not take action on this topic. Superintendent evaluation. The board discussed the superintendent evaluation. The board did not take action on this topic. Negotiations 22-23 negotiation team. Dr. Jane Wilson, Director of Human Resources, presented the recommended composition of the 22-23 Garrett County Board of Education negotiation teams to the board for approval. The board took action on this topic in the public session under the consent agenda. Administrative function. The board discussed various administrative function topics. They considered these topics but did not take action. Recess. The board recessed the executive session at 6:06 p.m. to begin the public session. The board returned to executive session at 8:04 p.m. to discuss the personnel topic and administrative function topics. Matthew Paul made a motion to adjourn the executive session, and Jason Van Sickle seconded the motion. The motion carried with yea votes for Monica Rinker, Rodney Glotfelty, Matthew Paul, and Jason Van Sickle. The executive session ended at 10:47 p.m. Mr. Tom Wood, Board President, Mr. Rodney Glotfelty, Board Vice President, Mrs. Monica Rinker, Board Member, and Dr. Matthew Paul, Board Member, attended the meeting. Mr. Jason Van Sickle, Board Member, attended the meeting at 4:18 p.m. Ms. Barbara Baker, Superintendent, Mr. Brandon Hoover, Board Attorney, Dr. Nicole Miller, Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Jane Wilderson, Director of Human Resources, Ms. Allison Schweitzer, Director of Finance, Ms. Karen Brewer, Executive Assistant to the Superintendent, attended all or part of the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, so on the announcements, I have quite a few. Tomorrow, December 14th, we'll have an orientation meeting for the school closure advisory committees at Garrett College, room 111, from 4 o'clock to 5:30 p.m. unless weather turns bad. December 15th is the progress reports for the second grading term. December 20 and/or 22nd, January 3rd, 5th, and 9th, the school closing advisory committees will be meeting, but the location and times will be determined by each committee. December 21st, the grade band and facility use meetings for the northern area schools. The first meeting will be held at the Northern Garrett High School Media Center from 9 to 3. And then that evening, the community meeting will be held from 6 to 8. And there will be additional, at least one more opportunity. We know it's right around Christmas. There'll be at least one more opportunity for community feedback. December 23rd, I invite everyone to the Grantsville Elementary School reopening ceremony at 120 Grant Street in Grantsville at 10 a.m. For the dedication of our renovated building, and that day is also a 3-hour dismissal for the holiday. Schools will be closed from December 24th through January 2nd for the winter holiday. January 3rd, schools will reopen. January 10th is the date that we've set for the recommendation for the closing committees. That might be subject to change. January 16th, schools will be closed for Martin Luther King Day. And January 17th is our next Board of Education meeting at 4 o'clock p.m. We're going to hold that at Grantsville Elementary School on January 17th with the executive session starting at 4 and public starting at 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to recognitions now. The Simon McNeely Award is being presented to Aaron Hortebay. And I think that is being done by Dr. Paul.
Okay, Aaron.
Let's see. Aaron Hortebay, physical education teacher at Yacht Glades Elementary School, received the Simon McNeely Award by the Society of Health and Physical Educators, SHAPE. This award recognizes teachers who demonstrate outstanding innovation in teaching health education or physical education, along with active involvement in school and community affairs. Award winners conduct a comprehensive and diverse physical education program that utilizes the essential components of physical education as reflected in the SHAPE America National Standards and grade level outcomes for K-12 physical education and other best practices. The award is named for Simon McNeely, who was a special education teacher and longtime member of the President's Council for Physical Fitness and the United States International Olympic Committees. Mr. Hortebay, aka Mr. H, has been teaching physical education in Garrett County for 20 years. He spent the first 10 years as a travel teacher between Yacht Glades, Crellin, and Kitzmiller. As a PE and adapted PE teacher, he's organized annual field days, adventure days in Harris Manor, ski trips to the Wisp, jump rope for heart, and bike rodeos. He's coached mountaintop soccer, Southern and Garrett boys tennis, wrestling on both the Northern and Southern teams, first Lego League, and the Garrett County Composite Mountain Biking Team. Mr. H and his mountain biking team were instrumental in the creation of the newly built biking trails in Broadford Park. He also helps as a blind skier guide for Lions Club. Mr. H lives in Crellin with his amazing wife, it says, and GCPS teacher Carrie, and their 3 awesome sons. Congratulations.
Yes.
Have any words of wisdom?
You'll have to
Education
get
advice
a
for
picture
us.
in.
Say every day.
Every day.
Let's get a picture up here in the middle somewhere.
Good talk to you, man.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3. Down here for the measure. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Dr.
Yeah. Let's go back.
Okay,
We'll try.
I think we're doing the boys first, is it, right?
Looks like it.
Oh, yeah.
Come on in.
Good morning, guys.
Yeah, keep moving all the way over. There you go. How many of you, is that it?
Unless there's more, are there more coming?
Oh, okay, okay.
Come on in.
Oh, is that,
Yeah,
come on in.
in.
We're doing everybody, then we'll do the pictures.
Okay. We have to make a double row.
You're fine, you can push it behind each other. Keep going.
Yeah, we can double row. Yeah, the boys stop moving. There you go.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm all, yeah, you won't be able to do
First of all, I'd like to thank, everyone for coming. I don't know that there's anybody else in the northern end left, but, appreciate all of you being here. And certainly, we're honored to, make this recognition this evening, and both boys and girls cross-country at Northern High School, and I've asked Jason and Mr. Van Sickles to make that
Thank you.
presentation.
We are going to read some words from your, kind of your, meet that you had. After that, Alexis, she doesn't ever give out the certificate. She's actually going to assist with that since we have a large group. What we'll do, guys, at the end is we'll do a picture of the girls first, and then we'll do a picture of the boys because it's a big group to get everybody in that picture. So first of all, let me say congratulations. The Northern boys and girls cross country teams each won the MPSSAA Cross Country State Championship at Hartford High School on November 12th, 2022. The girls cross country team captured their third consecutive state title, while the boys teams captured their first state title. The girls team boasted 6 all-state performances, all 7 of the team's runners finished in the top 35. The spread, the time between first and fifth, of the runners of the girls team was only 1 minute and 14 seconds. Additionally, this season, the girls captured 17 championships. On the boys' side, they captured 4 team titles, and being the last 4 meets of the season. In the state championships, the spread of the boys was only 59 seconds. Additionally, 4 of the boys netted all-state honors. Congratulations to both teams. If I could first get the girls' coach to come up, please. We'll present you with the certificate. Congratulations, coach. If you guys want to join your coach up here, we'll do picture with Stacy.
Do you have any words while you're getting your picture organized?
Oh.
No.
Do you want some?
Well, I don't know. It's up to you.
I'll say, I'll cover both groups here, but with being number one or winning a championship, there always comes a certain level of adversity you have to overcome. We had our own this year that I won't discuss, but they overcame that. I think that's just a good lesson for me and a good lesson for adults that these kids don't fold at the first sign of trouble, and they just plow through, and they're good representatives that way of their community here.
If you keep this up, we're gonna get you a chair here, and you can just kind of, your own seat area.
Leah. Yeah. Sophia. Yeah, Isabella. Yep. No, see how well they organize.
All right, guys, let's line up. Mark will tell us what we're supposed to do. We'll face that way. Oh, we're right here?
Switch it up for you.
You don't.
I think it was Mark.
Hey, guys.
What do you call?
But you make sure you can see the camera, make sure your face, yeah.
You want to go on 1, 2, and 3? Go again here. 1, 2, 3. Because of large group, I'm gonna do one more. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Make sure your parents are good. Parents good?
Yeah.
Congratulations,
All
ladies.
All the way from the way. Oh, but just right here.
Taking the board award too? Congratulations again. I'll give you that one. Guys, come around this way. Josh?
Liam.
Sean?
Yeah.
I'll go. Jaden. Ted.
Rich.
Okay.
That Liz?
Ethan. Devin. Robbie. Diane. Siobhan. Ashton. Matthew. Darren. Yeah. And I'm back.
Remember your first name.
Yeah.
All right,
I think I was called.
Let's try to go all the way to the back again. Here, he's down there in the middle. There's no more bridges.
Everybody see me here? Go on 1, 2, and 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you all.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
On behalf of the board, thank you for coming. We certainly appreciate you coming out all night and doing this.
I'm gonna give it to you. Congrats. Yeah, right on there.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, she said.
Everyone spells things like him for way too more.
I was like, ready? Yeah.
Crowd control under control.
It is.
See, you guys wore your medals.
Oh, good for her.
Oh, it's okay.
When we do, our board announcements.
Double row.
I know. I was thinking. Come on.
How you doing?
It's gotta be in somewhere. Okay.
Well, on behalf of the Board of Education, thank you for coming this evening. As I said, in the northern end, there weren't many people left in the northern end. As I look around, there's not a lot of people left in the southern end either. So, you know, we're very happy that you took the time this evening to come and for give us a chance to honor you for an incredible accomplishment. I've asked two of our board members, Mr. Gladfeld and Ms. Rinker, to make the presentation on behalf of the board.
Hello, everybody. It's really my pleasure to read this, all your, list of your accomplishments this year, because being in the band boosters for 7 years at Northern back in the late 90s, I know the tremendous work that goes into preparing for these band shows, the travel that you know, the work that your parents do, their costumes, there's, you know, there's a lot of auxiliary things you have to bring out on the field that, that the parents sometimes have to help transport. So, I know the work that went into this award, and, I'm so proud of the job you've done this year. But let me read your list of accomplishments, and then, Monica and I will hand you the certificate. The Southern Garrett Marching Band has concluded another amazing season. The band participated in many competitions throughout the fall, earning points in the Tournament of Bands competition. They took first place at Huntington High School, Pennsylvania, and Homer Center, Pennsylvania competitions, the Region 5 Class 1A Championship at Spring Mills High School, the Tournament of Bands Southwest Championship at Greenway Avenue Stadium, and culminating with a first place finish in the 2022 Tournament of Bands 1A Atlantic Coast Championship, scoring an impressive 95.02. And that's an amazing score. Along with capturing the ACC title, the band also earned the Best Visual, Best Music, and Best Percussion awards. And if you don't think this was enough, there was 19 other bands in your division, and you were first out of all those 19 bands. Incredible. The band previously won the school and county's first Atlantic Coast Championship in 2019. In that season, the band won Best Color Guard. The band will be traveling to Florida in March 2023 to represent Garrett County at Walt Disney World and Universal Studios. Now, I got to do that with the Northern Band back about 20 years ago, and you're gonna have a great time. It's amazing when you march down there and there's 20,000 people cheering for you, and you're probably going to be the only band there on the Saturday night, right?
I don't know.
Well, that's usually the case. So, you're going to have a great time, I know. Congratulations to the Southern Garrett Marching Band on the successful 2022 season. And I'll give you a certificate to Jason here, Jason Shaw, Director. The Garrett County Board of Education Certificate of Recognition presents the Southern Garrett High School Marching Band in honor of your achievements, and outstanding accomplishment, winner of the 2022 Tournament of Bands 1A Atlantic Coast Championship. And everybody's got their little award medal, right? This is the ACC one? There you go. Now, we got a lot of these to give out before we do pictures.
Yeah. Jason, is there anything you want to say while they're passing? Caitlin Bernard?
Well, first of all, raise your hand, and we have some folks that are sick, unfortunately, going around, as they say. Raise your hand if you were actually a part of the 2019 season. We have several, and we have a couple that couldn't make it tonight. So we have several that were our two-time ACC. And, we wanted to, on behalf of the staff and the band, we wanted to present you with an award.
Oh, thank you so much. I much appreciate it. Thank you. Alex Holstutler?
As we've said many times, we really,
Can I go to Disney World?
Sure. Come on in. I gotta
I
make
don't know
a
if I can
call.
go to Disney World. I'm just kidding. But I will help you fundraise if you need. Thank you. Karen David?
As we've said many times, and we put an ad in the paper, we just say thank you to the community. We live in an amazing small town here in Oakland and Southern Garrett County, and Garrett County as a whole. The support we've received has been fantastic. So.
Cody.
And he is right, a lot over here. A lot of different types of people, staff, parents,
You're welcome.
volunteers. It's a huge family, and you can see a lot of them here. So we just hard work pays off.
The application is not many repeats. In 3 years to repeat is really an accomplishment.
It is tough, for sure.
Katie Kraus.
Incredible. I thought it was also interesting that almost all the things won were won in Allegheny County.
Elena James.
Yep,
That's pretty amazing.
definitely. I think another thing to reflect on too is the way they bounced back. Obviously, COVID did not allow us to do much in 2020, 2019. Right after we went to Disney the last time. But the way this band has bounced back and got back to work has been tremendous too, so. We have,
Tina Schaefer.
raise your hand if you're in Southern Middle School. We have a strong Southern Middle contingency program. We thank Mrs. Renard, Mrs. Shaw, and Mrs. Wesolowski down there for supporting us, because that's not easy being in two different schools. And of course, Mr. Wolf has been tremendous the whole time, and Mr. Skipper. Even as far as I said, Coach Nazarod allowing us to share a field at 5:30. He's just about done. We need to get on, get, like he said, a million props on. The support from everyone's been tremendous.
Chloe Healy. We're just making a pile for the ones that aren't here.
Keep talking, we still have a few.
Got a wrestler and a basketball player not here and some six.
Simon Tremblay.
Mr. Weeks, my assistant band director, you got anything like that?
No, we got a big thing going this weekend, so
Haley Davis.
sort of at a loss for words right now. It's been a good group though.
Cameron Wright.
This mom.
Yeah, we really did have,
I bet somebody bumped it, yeah.
Bella Shipley.
No, we're still paying.
like I said before, to bounce back from being shut down, we asked a lot from our parents, and our parents
Tyler Baker.
really stepped up this year. We're very thankful for the staff.
Evelyn Medley. Skylar Brock. Natalie Edge. She's not there.
Oh no.
Kaylee Bray.
How many did you typically have in middle school?
Fox.
Do you remember?
I think it was 8 or 9. More in our color guard
Gibson
than
Shaw.
playing music.
Drum leader.
Sean Christman is our drum major, and he unfortunately has the flu, so he won't be
Jason
here.
Shaw.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mark Weeks.
All the rest of our staff, Blair Glass, Teresa Weeks, Mr. Clever, former band director of Southern Garrett, tremendous
Blair
help,
Glass.
and Matt Stoops also.
Matt Stoops. Absent off now.
We were able to, thankfully, we were able to honor the name of Mary McEwen at our home show. She's now a member of the Marching Band Wall of Fame, was Band Booster president for many years, and tremendous supporter of ours. So it was great to dedicate partly this season, partly to her in her memory as well. So, yeah.
And it was really true that, you know, our parents was one of the largest support groups that we had, and this is a product of the support that they gave us this year with getting props on the field and getting our trailer and equipment to the shows and helping us get loaded up and unloaded and just tremendous support for getting their children to our practices, because that's quite a commitment.
On that note, real quick, thank you to the Community Trust Fund and Samantha Funding the Arts. That trailer would not be ours without those two tremendous grants from those organizations.
Organize a little picture.
Yeah, how are we gonna do this? Everybody.
I can get them to play music.
Short people up front, tall people up back. They need, they give them.
Oh, you're welcome.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. Good. See what we got?
Simon,
Oh, yeah.
Simon, can you go down next to Kirsten? I don't think there's any other thing. And once you come up, Brenda. Find a window.
You're good. Everybody see the camera? Good? All right, we're gonna go 1, 2, and 3. And do another one. 1, 2, 3. Another one. 1, 2, 3. One last one. 1, 2, 3. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very nice.
Oh, man, I enjoyed that one.
You did pretty nice for that.
We need that one.
Yeah, we'll stay for the rest of the meeting. Thanks, guys. Take care. Thanks, Trace. Take care. Sorry.
Keep that up, Grant, knock out a few walls.
Very nice.
I'll get a bigger boat. All right, we have one more recognition to make tonight, and certainly it is a well-deserved recognition. And this is a recognition of Ms. Rinker's 8 years of dedication to the Garrett County Board of Education and the students of Garrett County. Whereas Monica Rinker has served as a board member of the Garrett County Board of Education for the last 8 years, and whereas during her years as a board member, she approved many initiatives that benefit the students, staff, the school system, including implementing security vehicles, adding more technology devices for students, enhancing facility and grounds, completing partial building renovations, and leading the school system in an unprecedented time during the COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas she has served as board president in 2017, served on the following Garrett County Public Schools committees: Federal Program Advisory Committee, Fine Arts Committee, and Master Plan Steering Committee. And whereas she was an effective, faithful, hardworking school board member that looked at school practices and curriculum adjustments that benefit the students. Whereas she has worked with school board members, parents, businesses, educational professionals, and other community members to create and maintain the educational vision we want for our students. And whereas she attended a multitude of school activities and events to support the students and their achievements, whereas she worked hard to collaborate with fellow board members, superintendent, school staff, students, community members, valuing the input of community members and understanding that involving all these stakeholders will help the board make the best decisions for the school system. And whereas Garrett County Board of Education and Garrett County Public Schools recognize Monica Rinker for her leadership, support, and extensive time dedicated to our public school system, which the entire community benefited, and therefore, we do hereby commend Monica Rinker for 8 years of dedication and outstanding public service. And I'll certainly ask superintendent, board members, anybody else that has something to say, but certainly Monica, I think all of us have pretty much been in awe of your preparation for board members. You are as prepared a board member as I've ever been involved with. And the school system has benefited greatly from the insights that you've brought, the value you've put into your position. So, that being said, anybody else have comments?
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate, your, preparation, as Tom said. I think, the ability to point things out to us and be, always prepared to be like, this was in this meeting how many months ago, and, be able to remember that or have the notes that you have, is always amazing. And the commitment that you have to schools, and, to your family and all the many things I know that you're busy with and that you've made all the time to do this work with your whole heart, was, recognized and appreciated.
I just want to say thank you, Monica, and just to echo what Matt said, we'll be calling you if we can't find a document. So we're gonna.
If you don't have it, Charlotte does.
I just want to say, I'm going to miss you, Monica, sitting next to you all these years. I'm in awe too of the preparation for these meetings. She goes over every document, every page, and you know, like I said, she keeps us honest about what we talked about months ago. So you'll be missed, Monica. And,
Thank you.
thank you for the years of service. Kind of envy you.
I echo everyone else's comments as well, and one thing that I know, Mrs. Rinker, you always had the best interest of our students and their families at heart in your decision-making, and we do very much appreciate that because, you know, we all care very deeply about our kids, and I know you do too, and that will be missed, so thank you so much.
We'll probably see you again.
Yeah, I'm not going, don't worry about that.
So on behalf of the Board of Education, we do have a card, we do have a gift for you. Again, thank you so very, very much for everything that you've done for all of us. We deeply appreciate it.
You're welcome.
As a parent, I want to thank you. I feel like you're one of the members, all of you stand up for, I think, what you feel very strongly about. And I know she is out there for our kids. And we greatly appreciate you over the last 8 years, very much so.
Monica, you want to say a few words?
Actually, I do.
Oh, yeah, that's a big surprise.
Should I sit back down or?
No, well, I've been thinking a lot. It's not very long, so don't worry. Wow, it's hard to believe these past 8 years are coming to an end. My last official monthly board meeting. I'm grateful for having the opportunity to serve as a school board member. Thankful for the ones who registered to cast a vote for me. If I would sum it up, it has been a learning experience, challenging at times, rewarding. I've got an accumulation of multitudes of folders and documents taking up space in my file cabinet. Taken a lot of courage to speak with my heart. It's what my vet is telling me to, even if I know it's not the favorable one for the evening. Lots of firsts, being the president, speaking in front of all the Board of Education employees, minus the bus contractors, at the countywide back-to-school reunion. That's the most people I've ever been in front of my entire life. Remember that day it was, don't forget a picture, it's worth 1,000 words. That was what I talked about. I had the honor of speaking to our retirees at their annual dinner while serving as vice president. Remember, come back and be a substitute teacher. Your job isn't completed yet. Quickly learned the meaning of calling the question. I always say to start your prayer before a board meeting, and I learned the difference between the word requirement and recommendation. I would like to leave sharing advice that was given to me when I took this position 8 years ago. Pick your battles, let the small things go. That's easier said than done. Enter a boardroom, not as a friend. Remember you're there to get a job done. When you lay your head down at night, you're the one who has to live with your decision. Always keep that in mind. Remember who your decisions impact. Remember all those faces. Only expect somebody to do a job as long as you would do it yourself. New doesn't always mean better, so research it first. It's okay to get nervous when you speak first. That means you care. Remember where you come from, what it feels like to be the person on the other side of the table. Always be the voice for the children. Always listen. You always listen. You would want someone to listen to you, so don't just go through the motions. Fellow board members, you were placed here to be the voice for our community, our schools, our employees, and our students. Remember, we live in a small community that's very caring, where people know each other by name. They talk, the facts always get out. In closing, I want to thank you all for your support over these last 8 years. Thank you again.
Everybody? Sure, yeah. Matthew, everybody. Oh, no, Brandon?
Brandon.
To be a part of this. No meeting without you. We're losing our
That's what the photographer always tells me to do.
All right. Go 1, 2, 3. Go again. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No, because they already said they need to.
No, we're not even calling her.
I start posting Bennett Road, that's why I paid attention, I'll stay there, I'm still gonna be around. I'll just set a table.
You don't need all that.
Would also like to point out that we do have your replacement here tonight. Josh, if you want to stand up so everybody can
Next month.
know who they're going to start yelling at. So we appreciate, Josh, you coming on board, and we look forward to having you. Next month, we'll swear you in, and following some big shoes. If you're as prepared as she is, those are big shoes. Okay, with that said, that's all of our recognitions for this evening. We are going to move on to safety training, and then we'll probably pick up with public comment as soon as we finish with that. So with that being said, let's go right down to new business. And we're going to ask our manager of safety and security, Clark Hornick, to do a quick presentation on a drill that was held a little while back.
Good evening.
Lee?
So to give you a little context about what I'm about to read, when we do a family reunification, typically it's from a violent critical incident that occurred at a school. So the school now becomes a crime scene possibly, or it could be some other severe weather event, but we need to evacuate the entire school and then later make a reunification with their family. So I've been working on that basically since I got hired. So the reunification team consists of roughly 30 individuals and is responsible for a safe and streamlined process of parent to student reunification in event of a critical incident at one or more of our schools. The roles of these individuals are crucial in maintaining a safe environment in this dynamic and emotional time after a violent critical incident. Staff from both the central office and the satellite offices at Bennett Road Educational Complex were selected to participate due to their nature of their positions. They are stationed outside of the school building and can be deployed immediately. Roughly 20 volunteers also assisted in our mock drills by role-playing as parents and students. The Raptor Alert Accountability and Reunification application was used to help facilitate this event. So once we did our training, The outcome, the team participated in over 3 hours of classroom application training in the morning with 3 instructors from Raptor Technologies, as well as completing 3 mock reunification drills in the afternoon. The successes, the reunification team members worked very well together and were fully engaged. The use of the Raptor app or application made the reunification accountability process seamless to ensure proper reunification in the event of an actual emergency. The reunification team showed improvement after each mock drill. They just kept getting better the more we did it. Debriefing meetings were held after each drill, and participants gave helpful and meaningful feedback, which helped in the upcoming drill. Parents, volunteers were asked and did engage in stress-inducing behavior during each drill to simulate real-life situations. Okay. Lessons learned, where we could have improved or where we're going to improve is stationing our graders as part of the team closer to the entrance of the facility we're going to use for reunification. Using partitions, caution tape, and cones for basically crowd control. Escorting parents from the greeting table to the waiting area, which is a designated spot for parents. Utilizing a separate space for parent and student reunification. Designating exit routes for families who have already been reunified. Using signage both inside and outside the reunification building location. So there's where we just need to improve on. We've identified those areas. The next steps is we need to purchase reunification signage, identification vests for our reunification team, and other miscellaneous items to assist the team members, parents, and students. Basically, we need to build a reunification kit, and we can do that through the I Love You Guys Foundation, which really is a groundbreaker in reunification training. We need to continue to train yearly, and in the future, include law enforcement in our next round of training exercises. We did have law enforcement there during our training, just observing, but we need to include them in the actual exercise in the future. And we just need to update our emergency plans and procedures to include the reunification plans that we have, a policy and a procedure.
Okay, questions? Anyone have any questions about the drill that certainly can answer without divulging information about our security protocols that we might be using, but any questions? Anybody?
When you said the I Love You Guys Foundation, is that like, do they give you money to purchase things that we need, or what was that?
No, actually, it's a very good foundation, and they provide templates of the signage. So you can just download the signage and just be able to print it out. Now, there are some other things that you purchase, like lanyards and they're like ID cards, but they're instruction cards that you give to the workers that actually have their duties printed on the card. Okay, because there's several duties. There's a greeter role, a runner role, parent runner, and a reunifier role. So there's several different roles, and we like to make our team interchangeable in that, so they know how to do each role. But yeah, it should be not. To answer your question, a lot of it is free.
Okay, that's good. So in this, you also said next time have somewhat police officers involved, or do you ever have like the fire department or the EMT involved in anything, like for practice or anything?
No,
No?
because during an incident like this, they would be utilized at the crime scene,
Okay.
Wherever that would be, especially when it comes to the fire department and EMS and police. And the plan is, how I foresee it, if we would have a critical incident in the northern part of the county, sheriff's deputies I would ask the sheriff deputies to help secure the reunification site, and vice versa. If the violent critical incident was on the south side, we would have state police assist with, but again, I would just ask that ultimately they would make the decision on who
Right.
goes where.
Okay. Thanks.
Unfortunately, in this day and age, these are the kinds of things that we, you know, I can recall back in my years at Southern High School as principal, if we would have unfortunately, I think we had 2 bomb scares while I was there. And, we'd take the kids to the football field, one time, and the difficulty of reunifying them with family members, ensuring they got on their buses correctly, all those things became, certainly we weren't nearly as organized as you are. We were trying to do that on the fly most of the time. And, it's very daunting to know how to do all that.
I believe that's one of the reasons why Ms. Baker hired me, that was a big
Sure.
duty, or the heavy lifting that needed to be done.
It's been, unfortunately, in this day and age, you can't be too prepared. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bring us up to date on the drill. You want to go ahead and they read that before we do?
Yeah.
Right here?
So the advisory group and the, reunification, the grade band alignment, there are several people responsible, but, I have asked Dr. Miller to update on all of the groups, so that the people watching from home can hear it clearly. So she's reading some of my portion as well.
Right. So good evening, and on Board Docs, there is a memo that can be read. I'm here just to update the board on the GCPS advisory committees, specific to school closures for Route 40 and Swan Meadow, as well as the Northern Area Grade Band and Facility Utilization Committee. So I'm going to talk about the Route 40 and Swan Meadow advisory committees first. Those committees are being stood up in accordance with GCPS policy FCB closing of schools. We have put out a way to solicit names for those committees, and Ms. Baker has appointed the successful candidates for those committees, and they have been named. So the next step is for the orientation meeting to occur tomorrow. That'll be on December 14th at Garrett College starting at 4 o'clock. And at that point, those committees will be given a large number of documents and pieces of information specific to their role and what they're charged to do as the advisory committees. Largely, they're looking at the advantages and disadvantages of closing the said schools. So that's their focus, and there's a number of components that they have to consider written in policy, and that will be the documents that we'll be sharing with them tomorrow as well. And at that time, they'll also select roles, and they will identify exactly what dates they plan to meet. In the memo, it does detail several dates that they can choose from, and they will decide that tomorrow at the orientation meeting. The timeline that we're following for this particular work is in line with COMAR regulations, and you can see the regulation is listed in the memo. So that's the update for the Route 40 and Swan Meadow Advisory Committees. Then we have the Northern Area Grade Band and Facility Utilization Committee. That committee is focused on a study specific to the Northern Area schools and grade banding. We're following a very similar process to the South, and those committee members have been selected as well. We intend to meet with that committee on December 21st. That's we, as in Grimm and Parker, and Garrett County Public Schools will meet together with that committee. And we actually have 54 people on that committee representing elementary and secondary. And that does not include any of the central office folks. We also wanted to make sure that we had students and parents and teachers and principals, all of our stakeholder groups represented. So on December 21st, we are holding the committee meetings during the day at Northern High School. And then we also have a community meeting in the evening on that day at Northern High School as well in the cafeteria. And that meeting will run from 6 to 8. And that's largely an opportunity to provide feedback on the plan. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that there will be at least one more opportunity for feedback from the community as we build this plan. And I also forgot to mention regarding the Route 40 and Swan Meadow advisories that there are 10 individuals on both of those committees, and I forgot to mention that earlier, and that is also in the memo. I think that covers it.
Any questions for Dr. Miller concerning the memo? Mark, you have a question?
Well, just to clarify or to understand the one thing. Okay, the advisor groups were named. The 54 people for the grade band alignment committee have been named. Okay, and you have when the advisory group will meet tomorrow, correct?
The Route 40 and Swan Meadow advisory committees will meet tomorrow for their orientation.
Okay, so I guess this is my question. We have, is it January 10th is the recommendation, which actually is a little bit less than a month, for the committees to bring back to the superintendent. And considering it's over the Christmas holiday and New Year's, I understand there is the COMAR, that count back 90 days, or I believe it said it could go up to April. So is there any way we could have that date moved up instead of having it right after? Because some families already had plans a year ago to go out of town for Christmas, or they have family coming in for the holidays.
Which meeting are you?
The January 10th, when they are, the groups, advisory groups, present their findings to the superintendent, and that will be at a public meeting, correct?
Right, and I think we may amend that, anyway, based on some feedback from the board, so, I will defer a definitive answer, but yes, we will be looking at that particular date.
So, just if anybody's watching or listening or on the committees, will that be made in soon if the date's changing, that people will?
Yeah, I can't answer that, but I would assume yes, since we'd be getting pretty close to the time we would need to make the meeting arrangements.
Okay. And again, then for clarification, when the groups is present the findings, it will be at an open meeting, so anybody could, can be there to listen, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And for clarification, some people still don't quite understand grade band alignment. Can you explain more what that means? I mean, like, when you're in the education department field, you know what that means. But I've heard several people still say to me, we're unclear what grade band alignment is. Can you just make it a little bit more clear?
So right now, in the northern end, we have a pre-K through 5, 6 through 8, and a 9 through 12 grade band. And so what this committee is going to be looking at, along with Raymond Parker, is a different grade band that would include pre-K through 6 and 7 through 12.
You have a question? Yes, Jason.
Just one, which you may not know the answer to yet, Dr. Miller, but it says here that the 21st meeting that's open to the public for grade band realignment is being held at Northern High School will either be rescheduled or an additional date will be added. Do we know how soon that date will be added? Will that be added this week, next week?
The additional date it'll be after the holidays. The additional time for public comment will probably be after.
Will that be announced
Right,
this week?
yeah, we need to make sure, look at the calendar, and yes, we would announce that before, hopefully this week.
Thank you.
Yes, but it would be held at, of course, after the
And the public hearings, that will be different days for one for Route 40, one for Palmetto, or will it be the same time? I mean, the same day, in case people are inquiring.
So first we'll have the January 17th board meeting. The January 17th board meeting will have recommendations, and then there will be public hearings. And I'm specifically speaking of the Route 40 and the Swan Meadow advisory, and school closure process. So we have the January 17th meeting, and then thereafter, there will be an opportunity for a public hearing for both Swan Meadow and Route 40, for the public to respond prior to the meeting that will follow, where the board will make a decision.
So they will be on separate days then?
Well, that will be at the board will decide, yeah, and, or the superintendent will decide the exact date, but, yeah.
I think it's also important to note, these are the superintendent's committees. The superintendent will get feedback from these committees, at a date, perhaps in February. The superintendent will make a formal recommendation to the elected board, at which time the elected board will take, her recommendation under consideration for our vote.
Question about the, where you're gonna hold these public hearings, as far as the closure, public hearings, will it be in Finsville and, in the Pleasant Valley area, or do we know the location of those?
No, we do not know the location. Traditionally, that's what has been done.
We've done
Well,
it.
that would be what I'd recommend,
And that's,
Yeah.
maybe the fire hall in, Finsville and community center.
So our board website, some people are technology savvy, can go to it, find it, other ones, it's more difficult. So we have it where it's very user-friendly, easy, where people can look on the website to find the calendar, of the days and what meetings are going on, the recommendations. We have it somewhere that'll be,
Yes, that will all be public information. So,
starting
And-
tomorrow, the next.
and we have several, press releases planned and can certainly add more. I think we've developed a very robust, group of, people that we send out our announcements to. So, it will be in the paper, it will be on our website, it will be on the radio. I don't know that there would be any reason for not knowing exactly when those meetings are being held. We will publicize them far and wide.
In a timely fashion in advance.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought of one more thing. When you have the hearing, one will be more focused like on Route 40, one more on Swan Meadow, but anybody can come to them. And even if it would say the Swan Meadow, Route 40 could speak. I mean, if they want to talk about Route 40, it would be Swan Meadow, because what if the nights you have planned for one designated school doesn't work, there's a conflict or something, then, they still could have an opportunity to talk. It might just be at a
It'll be public
different.
meeting that anyone can speak.
Any other questions about, straight banding and school closures? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So we are going to take public comments this time. Oh, I'm sorry.
Rodney put his hand up.
I'm sorry, Rodney.
I think northern end is going to have many of the same questions that we went through on the southern end. How safe are the seventh and eighth graders going to be moving up to northern, for instance? How are they going to be isolated from the general student population? So there's a plan to try to address all those issues at these two meetings. I mean, you did get a lot of, you did do a lot of work on that in the southern end, so maybe some of those answers are already available here in the process. I just want to make sure you're covering all those things, all those concerns that the southern, parents have and teachers with what concerns are going to be of the northern.
Right. We certainly learned a lot from the process that we did on the southern end, and certainly are working with Raymond Parker to make sure that we're forward-thinking in addressing those things on the northern end as well. And that will certainly, components of what you're suggesting there would be in the presentation in January.
And we want to thank the people that have already given us, we've got several emails and comments on all this. And is there a certain, besides sending to elected board members, or a certain, email you want them to send?
We still have the same, email that we have set up, when we started the process in the southern end, and that, I believe, is Greg grade band dot alignment at Garrett County Public Schools. Garrett County Schools, yeah. But the grade band dot alignment. Yeah. And also, Grimm and Parker had a, mechanism for soliciting feedback from the public as well. And they are planning to do the same thing on the northern end. The process we want to follow is almost, well, of course, dates will be different, but very similar to what we followed in the southern end. So if people can't come, for whatever reason, we have other avenues for people to share their concerns or their questions.
So for the northern grade band alignment, just for people that are watching it and have questions. So on Route 40 in Swan Meadow, you have on here, unless the date changes, the board will vote on the superintendent's recommendation at the February board meeting. So when will the vote be taken on the northern grade band alignment? Is there a tentative? If people are asking, it won't.
Right, you know, those dates right now are all tentative. I think it would be premature to list them all, especially after some of the questions that we've received this evening as far as the process and when the public has an opportunity for feedback. So I would not want to say a date because I could be wrong. So we will publicize them in plenty of advance notice.
So there will be a meeting at some time then, not the one coming up, but one just for discussion on the grade band alignment, for people to come have comments, like during a board meeting or something, like.
There'll be a meeting held between the two board meetings after the plan is presented, and it's exactly as we did in the southern end. It was called a community feedback session. We had it at Dennett Road.
Right.
The next one won't be at Dennett Road, but other than that, it will follow the same process.
But the one for that is coming up December 21st,
No,
correct?
no, the one for December 21st is with Grimm and Parker and Garrett County Public Schools.
Yeah.
And it is, they did the same thing on the south. The days that we met with the committee in the evenings, well, the one evening, they held a community meeting.
But is that more focused on the discussion, the grade band alignment?
It's a discussion on the grade band alignment.
Okay,
Correct.
just for clarity. Now, because it is so close to Christmas, December 21st, and actually, I believe that day we have some performances at elementary schools in that evening, Christmas programs going on. So if there's people that might be interested in watching, will this be, can we have it recorded? So if people can't be there in person, they can hear, you know, like there might be churches, I mean, it's a busy time of year, and people that want to be an important piece of this, or have comment in person, or listen to what's being said, so it will be recorded.
We recorded them in the southern
Okay.
end discussion, so we'll record them.
Other questions?
Alexis, do you have anything you want to add?
I'm good for now.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Miller.
You're welcome.
We do have several public individuals who have signed up for public comment. Garrett County Board of Education is pleased to receive comments and ideas from our public pertaining to policies, procedures, and practices of the school system. We ask that comments be limited to a maximum time of 3 minutes per individual, unless otherwise considered by the board president. There will be no discussion or action taken at this meeting, but may be considered at a future meeting. Issues that are specific to individual employees should be referred to the immediate supervisor for appropriate consideration and review. Rude, slanderous, or threatening remarks or other behavior that is disruptive or interferes with the order of the meeting will not be permitted. With that being said, the first person who would like to speak is Beverly Malone, and she'd like to speak about the Route 40 grade band alignment.
Good evening. I'm Beverly Lynn, kindergartner from Pennsylvania. I'm a retired elementary teacher. We've come here tonight to request that Route 40 school remain open for our kids in the Pennsylvania and Appleton areas. We're well aware of the enrollment drop and the lack of funds for our Garrett County schools. We know that's a problem. The Route 40 staff has always provided an excellent education for our area kids. The Route 40 school building is in excellent condition. The active PTO committee that we have there does a great job supporting Route 40 kids and staff. It's difficult to sit back and watch our wonderful local school be taken from us. My two grandsons attend Route 40 school right now. One is in pre-K, he'll be 5 soon, and one is in 4th grade. We go to the bus stop at 7:30 each morning. They arrive at school about 40 minutes later. and they usually arrive home about 4 o'clock. If they are required to go to Grantsville Elementary, the bus ride will be at least an hour in the morning and the evening. All of these very young elementary students in Finsville and some in the outlying areas of Appleton will be on the bus about 10 hours each week. I think this is kind of excessive. And families with young children may not want to buy a home or build a home in the Finsville or Appleton area because of this. And I was wondering, could Northern Middle be closed so that more of these community elementary schools could remain open? Could Route 40 and other community elementary schools be grades pre-K to grades 7 or 8 so that the building space is being utilized? Could some grants be written for activities for kids or senior citizens that could help fund these community schools? We're hoping that Route 40 can remain open for our area. It's the hub of our community. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Alan McKenzie, and she would also like to speak about Route 40. Great.
Good evening. All right, so change is really stressful and constant these days at work and home, and now this for our kids. This is affecting our kids the most. My kids are always asking lots of questions now, like tonight. Where are you going to meeting? What's the meeting for? I'm like, to keep our school open. And then, you know, that just further concerns them about their daily routine. What's going to happen whenever this happens? Where am I going to go? And it's just drumming up so much. Anyways, like, I forget this lady's name. Monica. When Monica just said, new is not always better. I totally agree. Can we just leave them be? Since COVID, nothing is the same, and we are losing all the good things that we depended on in our daily living. The good old days are gone for our children. So let's try to figure out a way to keep this good thing for our kids, this school. Sorry. When we all voted for our Garrett County Board of Members, we voted to keep our schools open, and we all need to work together to figure this out, to keep that promise. Maybe redistricting, check on these homeschooled kids. Why, you know, couldn't they come back? You know, that's really taking a lot of our numbers. And what about, you know, I know some people who do taxes, and these babies are just coming in like crazy. Isn't that going to increase our population? Are we going to be looking back and be like, oh, sorry, we need to reopen that school? You know, my house value will go down. Nobody's going to want to live in our area. I work in Allegheny County, and I hear so many comments from different people. Oh, you live in Garrett County? Oh, that's awesome. Your kids go to Route 40? Oh, that's awesome. And they're like, we love those schools and those kids, and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I know, I'm really lucky, but now we're fighting for them. So that's all. Thank you.
Amy Rowe would also like to speak about Route 40 revitalizing.
Oh, good evening again. Here we are again. 3 years later, we're back here. I've been here probably 3 times in the last 8 years, pleading to keep our little school open. The last time I was here was like, you guys don't have anything to worry about. You're good. So we left. All happy. Here we are. I have a child in 4th grade now at Route 40. I have one in middle school. And we really need to keep these community schools open. This is just the start of a long process. You know, right now it's Route 40 and Swan Meadow. In a couple of years, then you want to close Friendsville, you want to close Accident. It's just a continuous snowball of closing all these schools that our communities need. We need these schools. This is the common core of kids' education is pre-K to 6th grade. You know, COVID's put these kids far behind. We're finally getting them back to a normal school day, school activities. And now, you know, our kids hear us talk. Okay, they're going to close your school. Well, oh no, here we go, more change. Anxiety levels are up for our kids. You know, you're going to take them to Grantsville. And okay, maybe we do need to close it, but you're gonna put them at Grantsville next year. Why don't we leave the Grantsville kids at Northern Middle and let all these kids go back to that school as a new school? Send them all together. Then they don't feel like they're, a visitor at the school. They all go back as one. Well, I've been chosen as one of these closure members, which I'm hoping that we can come up with enough reasons to keep these schools open. I'm gonna be open-minded, that's what they asked for, but really, I really truly believe in my heart, community schools are where our kids need to be. And, oh, I did send in an email, which Jason sent me back. Thank you for everything that we had down, our questions. So I'm hoping at the meeting on the 21st, when you guys meet with the Grimm and Parker, or whoever they are, that some of these issues, are outlined. So we have some more information to go from, because really we haven't been given anything. So all those questions we had, they were probably just the start of them now, because that was when we proposed a close or proposed the Grand Bend alignment. So I'm sure when we start meeting tomorrow, there's going to be more questions. And I think hopefully you guys are honest with us. That's what we need. We need honesty. Come out, tell us what you want to do. Just be honest. That's all we ask. And we're all here for our kids, right? That's why we're here. Thank you.
Michael Henderson would like to speak to us about bad math.
Good evening. My name is Michael Henderson. For brevity's sake, no insult that is intended for any individual or person. The Board of Late is making bad decisions based on bad data. Rounded numbers are used for simplicity. In 2019, the board approved the CIP for $30 million, $84,000 for reservation, new construction site for contingency for Southern Middle School. Then, 36 months later, in 2022, this number has swollen to over $51 million. $51 million for a partition, paint, and patch leaving in place old mechanical systems seems a bit high when compared to the cost of a new school. Foundation to rooftop using the IAC calculator, assuming the same size building as Southern Middle School of 92,000 square feet at $460 per square foot as a modern new school building is about $43 million. After 5 years of planning, hundreds of thousands of dollars for consultants, teams, committees, the repaired $51 million Southern complex will then be adored with trailers outside the school to accommodate the 6th grade students. The trailers will add an additional $650,000 to the $51 million. The board has already approved spending the higher figure for the repairs of Southern Middle, even if a new school is cheaper. Now we wait for rejection or approval from the IAC. The same errant mathematics can be seen in the comprehensive planning guide the board approved in November of 2022. Scroll down to the backlog maintenance. There it is found that Broadford roof is estimated to be about $4.5 million. Seems a bit high. Scroll down a bit further, and at Swan Meadows, it is seen at $51,400 plus $20,000 add up to $113 million. Come on, folks, this is elementary math. Taking a closer look, $20,000, $600 seems like an awful lot to mount a basketball pole. Look below that number, and the column for yacht blades doesn't add up either. This is the sort of bad math that in the age of COVID wants to shut down northern schools, pack children in the tightest spaces after bus rides in excess of an hour. Certainly the toddlers will appreciate an hour and a half ride in a dirty diaper. For all of this, the board wants the county commissioners to raise taxes to pay for bad math. People are not leaving Garrett County. They're being driven out. Have you not heard the voices of all the parents at the many meetings that want to protect our community schools? Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Arlie Lance would like to speak about grade band alignment?
Good evening. Thank each of you. Just have to start off saying, a heartbreaking news that we got today before Thanksgiving. It put a huge damper on so many of our Thanksgiving holidays. And now we are right back here before Christmas. So please, that sounds like you are going to defer some of these committee meetings, but let us have Christmas together here. Let us get ready for Christmas next week without, dealing with these possibilities. So, again, I'm here to ask you to consider another possibility. Usually when you're looking at some major finances, look at two possibilities. The rest of the country has found that these huge schools are not the best for our kids. There's research out there. The smaller the classrooms, the better the kids are doing. You've got a K-8 model sitting there at Swan Meadow. Come out and sit down with us and look at our test scores and let's talk about, see what we're doing. We're working our tails off out there with those kids, but it's making a difference. We can teach the kids because we're not dealing with discipline problems. These other schools, these parents, the stories these parents and kids are sharing with me from these middle schools and high schools right now is breaking my heart. Good kids, my good 4-H kids, my good robotic kids are dealing with bullying, fighting, drugs. I just found out this week one of my former students is bought vaping stuff from a kid at school. It just breaks my heart. So again, if we're really here for what's best for the kids, we've got to get out, we've got to talk to parents, we've got to talk to our students, we've got to figure out what's going on. Other schools, counties around us, downstate Pennsylvania, they have alternative schools in place. Where in this grade band alignment have we talked about an alternative school for these kids that are coming through, these drug babies? They're wired differently. They're not wired to sit in a chair like, well, I've always had trouble with that too, but, to sit there and learn the way our traditional kids learn. They need to learn fractions by cooking. They need to learn fractions in the wood shop. They need to learn life skills and learn our educational skills through those life skills. And we need to provide those kids that opportunity. And we need to allow our kids, traditional kids, the opportunity to learn. So let's work together. Let's see what we can do for the best of the kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our final speaker is Rebecca Gordon. She'd also like to talk about school closings.
I really didn't want to speak. I rode up with them and I said, yeah.
Here I am.
You want to ride back?
Yeah, pretty much. Public speaking is not my thing, so I'll apologize first. I have been a parent at Route 40 since 2006. I have 3 kids. They're spread out. I'm disappointed we're here again. I've been here multiple times. We shouldn't be pushing these committees together. I got the email today that I was rejected. It's fine. I kind of thought I would be. I have a big mouth. It's probably known. Look, I lost my sticker. But today, I learned today that I'm rejected for a meeting that the orientation is tomorrow. In any other field, it's 100% unacceptable. That is the last minute. You wouldn't ask anyone to put their schedule in line like that. So, then you have it 2 weeks before Christmas. That's nice. That's very thoughtful as well, because everybody's busy. I don't know who signed up to be on the committee, obviously, but I'm guessing a lot of moms. And a lot of moms are baking and shopping and wrapping and getting everything ready for, Christmas. But you know what we do? We stop because this is really important. I'll put it all aside for my children. So whatever it has to be, I'll be at every meeting you have, and I will speak at every meeting to do what I can to keep my child's school open. He's got 1 more year. But there is a ton of little kids in that school.
that have been so affected by COVID. They don't know what's up, what's down, what's coming, what's going, and now you want to change it up again. It's a great time. At what cost? When does it stop being about your numbers and about our children? We have families moving out of Finsville now because we'll go to Route 40. It's a great school. We aren't going to send our kids to Northern. It's too far. I've talked to families that want to move to Finsville until they find out that the kids can't go to Mountain Ridge. Everybody always assumes that, oh, the border's still open, that we can go back and forth. When they find that out, they won't buy in Finsville. Our property values are going to plummet if you close Route 40. But maybe that doesn't matter. You're going to decrease our school population fast by this move. Mark my word. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That ends, the public comment for this evening. Those of you that signed up, we appreciate you taking the time to come in and speak, about your concerns. Policy procedures, KHC distribution materials procedures and revision. We'll move to that next. That's to be presented by Mr. Green.
Good evening. I have a quick update for you regarding KHC distribution of materials. This is to the procedure. Under 1A, we've slightly changed the verbiage for the disclaimer that's put on the distribution of materials clause that goes to any of the materials that outside organizations want to send, put in the schools that potentially would be viewed by students or to possibly go home, depending on the type of distribution, and that is to add the superintendent of the school to the clause as well. And then additionally, under the same number 1D, to add other agencies as deemed appropriate by the superintendent. And this comes from a couple of our partner organizations that are already in the school system. One of them recently was, it's in the bag, had requested to send someone home. We didn't feel that they should need prior approval since they were an organization that are in our schools and work with week in and week out. And so we thought rather than listing additional organizations, adding other agencies as deemed appropriate by the superintendent would give us the flexibility to go ahead and automatically approve such flyers.
Questions on the update? A couple small updates that's certainly important overall.
It said other agencies, and you explained one. Would there be other agencies that have, or is that the only one that you can think of at the present time?
That's the one that's come forward, but I know that there's others that are in the system, like one that I thought of was Garrett Mentors that might possibly at one time, because they're not listed on here, but they're very heavily involved in our schools.
Mm-hmm.
Just the potential for it, we felt it was a better option to go this route.
Maybe could we go ahead and list the Garrett Mentors and it's a bag and still have other agencies as deemed appropriate by the superintendent?
Actually, we decided not to do that because then each time a new agency would come up, we would need to continue to add them. So this covers that anyone else that is currently partnering with us or may want to partner with us.
Do you notify those agencies when they ask to put materials? Have we notified the ones that we have allowed to produce materials in our schools?
Well, this would be, like, we haven't added anyone that's automatically eligible.
Right.
So this would be, if we do approve this, or, move forward with this, then yes, I would notify.
Yeah, notify those as they apply.
So then would you have a list somewhere, like, okay, you're saying other agencies and you're giving them approval, would there be a list somewhere, like, just, like, keep track of, that would have it? Ones that you're even, if you're not gonna put them on here, would you have it?
Yeah, I can certainly maintain a list that would satisfy the superintendent.
Sometimes some of those officers, I'm looking at Central Little League, here at Little League. It's not the same officers after my son leaves. It's a different group of people that's coming in. So I mean, they may not know they have that ability.
nonprofits, local sports organizations are automatically approved. I know,
And again, sometimes you have to
Right.
tell them you're automatic.
Right.
It's a whole group of people. Anything else, Rod?
I just think that language is appropriate to use. I think that was a good way of handling it.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
You're on, Alexis.
Okay, thank you. So GCSC members met at Brenda's on November 28th, and we discussed our plans for the General Assembly that we had last Thursday at the Garrett College. We are coordinating a Spirit Day at the Green Turtle on January 16th to help raise some money. At the General Assembly, we held a public speaking workshop where many students learned the do's and don'ts of speaking in front of audiences, and many of the students found the workshop very informative. We also held a handful of discussion groups where members had the opportunity to present ideas and concerns. The state SMOG gave a brief presentation informing the students of their responsibilities, and the members had an opportunity to look over the reopening and recovery plan for fall 22, and they were able to provide feedback as well. The GCSC members have an upcoming meeting on December 22nd that will be held virtually. Southern Garrett High School had their annual Ram Rumble Wednesday, November 23rd. The council has just finished 2 weeks of the light show that is being held at the old football field. All proceeds from the event is going back to the community, and this past weekend, the proceeds went to St. Jude's Hospital and Fletcher Lane. The show will continue on December 16th, 17th, 22nd, and 23rd. And we're also organizing an Operation Christmas where we're letting kids pick out gifts to give to their family for Christmas. The Southern Student Council is also starting to plan winter homecoming that is set for February 18th. Northern High School also hosts their War of Classes before the Thanksgiving break. They're currently holding a hat day and donating the proceeds to Heavenly Hats, which is an organization for kids with cancer. And they're also organizing a Secret Santa to give back to kids in need. For both just general student updates, both the Southern and Northern schools are continuing to enjoy the water bottle filters, and the students want to give a big appreciation to the board members for that. And Southern students did come up with some concerns today about the new requirement of students having to use their school-issued computers from now on during the school day to complete their work. That's about it. You said a Spirit Day at Green Turtle. Can you tell us more what that is? It's more so of customers can come into the Green Turtle and they can say that they are here with GCSC, and a portion of their purchase, yes, thank you, will go towards us to help raise money. Okay. And then you said about collecting hats. Is that like winter toboggans for Heavenly Hats? Yes. Is that like a drop-off at the high school, or where would that be? I am not 100% sure about that, but I will ask one of the members. I'm pretty sure it's a drop-off at the high school where students and community can drop off. Okay. And then one more question. So last thing you said about students using their school devices, is that both at Northern, Southern High? This was just brought up today. Okay. I haven't heard it from any Northern members, but the school has decided that we are not allowed to really use our personal computers on the school Wi-Fi. So we all have to use our school issued computers in order to connect to the Wi-Fi and do our schoolwork during the day. So there was some students that brought their own personal computer from home and brought it to school and used it on the. There's a good many handful of students that do bring their personal computers, myself included, and we just connect to the school Wi-Fi, like the guest school Wi-Fi, and we do our work from there. But they've decided that, yeah, I think they might be locking the Wi-Fi, so it can only be used on the school issue.
There might be security issues.
We will find out.
You can monitor.
Right.
Yeah. Was there students also using their cell phones to do their schoolwork, or you just mostly computers? It's mainly just personal devices. A lot of students really rely on their devices better just because they often can keep their passwords in them and they know their information. And they might look a little bit different than the other ones.
Yeah.
Ones all look alike, right? You gotta make sure when you're laying down, you pick up the right one.
Yeah, if we can get some more information on that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
There's also software limitations on these school-issued computers compared to
Yeah.
personal computers.
That's another reason why some students, especially in the computer science department, they have to use a special school issued computer in order to do it because the regular Chromebooks don't offer.
Because the Wi-Fi is locked down, so, I mean, as far as monitoring and tracking what's hitting the IP address, I mean, you should be able to do that from a security aspect regardless of the machine.
We'll get more information.
Any other questions for Alexa, comments? Board member reports, any, board member, activities that you'd like to report on?
First United Bank and Trust was lucky enough to host the Future Business Leaders of America yesterday from both Northern and Southern High School. We had just over 40 students that participated in the program, gave them a tour of the bank, and then also did intro sessions for them based on those who were interested in the business field after graduation.
I went last night to the Garrett County Public Schools Foundation meeting, and we had a great meeting. The foundation, once again, is going to try to give out 5 mini grants. I think those grant applications go out in January. They like to have them back by the end of February. Each of the grants are $250 for teachers to do things in their classrooms that they might feel they need some money for. The foundation did finish paying off the school board at Southern High School, which was, the money was deposited by fundraising from parents and businesses to do that. The foundation right now is sitting on about $407,000. Almost all of that is restricted, other than $2,444. So it is restricted for various things. The greatest portion of that is the Southern High School field house. Monies that have been deposited there, waiting to figure out what we're going to be able to do with that venture. I think there's about $272,000 sitting there waiting on that venture. Again, those were monies that were fundraised by community members and different businesses throughout the town. Two other things. I did have the pleasure of going to Grantsville Elementary and watching their Christmas program last week. It was terrific program. They did a great job, especially considering that those kids don't even go to Grantsville right now. They're at the middle school, but they were able to have their first performance in their new school. And I can say to you, I did kind of take my own self tour of the school and talk to some of the people that were working there. The school is absolutely beautiful. It's far prettier than I ever imagined it could possibly be. I think we'll be very happy when we open the school and have the dedication on the 23rd. Last day I did go to the Southern High School play, Young Frankenstein, and as a person that's been in this county now for 45 years and certainly affiliated with Southern High School for 37 of those, I've seen most of the plays that's ever been presented there, and I can say to you, it was the most incredible thing I've ever witnessed in my life. And that's not to say that the ones at Northern was just as good. I don't know. We were out of town when that was on, but I was absolutely, Debbie and I, it was just incredible how good they were. I mean, all of them sang. They had the same dialects as people in Austria, and it was just incredible how good they were. And I was amazed at, I will say this, I don't embarrass her, but David Wolf's daughter that played Dr. Frankenstein was absolutely incredible how good she was. So if you didn't see it, you really missed something. If you get a chance to see it, you'll want to see it.
How was the crowd there?
The crowd was good, very good. Yeah, we went the first night, Debbie and I, and it was
Yeah, I meant to go, but I wasn't feeling too good.
yeah, it's Aaron White did a great job, that group.
So, you know, the stage and everything, they think that really added to the show.
Oh, yeah, no question. It added to it. The whole atmosphere of the Performing Arts Center is conducive to, I'm sure, making it better as well.
That's a great resource for our kids.
It's a very nice, grand opening, and I think it will, we did a little self-tour also, and, the backstage and some of the areas that our students will have to prepare for their performances is truly amazing, including, you know, the stage and the seating is wonderful.
I think there's other high school performances there this month, right? I mean, in there.
There's, I think of the, check out the, December activities calendar. That's
Yeah,
the-
there's a choral society program that some of the kids are asked to participate in. That's actually Sunday afternoon, starting at 3 o'clock.
Anything else, anyone?
Well, I touched on an email today about the blueprint implementation meeting I'm going to attend virtually for May on Friday. So if you review that agenda, you see anything that stands out, or you want me to make a certain point, please let me know by Thursday evening. Appreciate it.
Monica, your final comments?
Well, today was Friendsville's Christmas program, so I didn't, but I got to go to Swan Meadows, and it was packed, it was a full house, and it was amazing. The community center was full. And Miss Bolt was there. And we were at the ribbon cutting ceremony for the performing arts.
Yeah, we were all there for that, yeah.
And I just thought of one question I forgot to ask earlier. Like, we talk about declining enrollment, and I've had several people ask me, when, or can we put it out there, how many children, like, we talk about our enrollment, our numbers we've lost. Do we know about approximately how many of them have went to, like, home schools? Like, we don't have declining enrollment because, they've totally left Garrett County, but because they're still living here in the county, and they're going to, be in homeschooled. Sure.
We collect that information, and it has been included in a number of presentations. We can add it to some others, but yes.
Anything else, Jason?
I think it's only fitting that Monica adjourns.
Monty, would you like to?
Allow me, me and Rodney sit here. Tom must be right-handed here. That's on the left, right, Rodney? We sat on the wrong side.
How would you ignore them?
Yes.
They've got their hands up instantly. Monty, the floor is yours. Would you like to make a motion to adjourn? Rodney? Those in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Thank you for coming.